Hello. This is going to be my favorite setting ever. And this is literally my favorite setting, and it's free, and it's all you need to pick up and run a game. Now, originally I was going to start with adventures that were free, but I'm starting with setting because I think setting's often the thing that gets in people's way the most when they're looking to start running a game. They feel like they have to have this completely fleshed out, beautiful setting with all the histories and everything in detail. And the truth is you don't. Like for me personally, I don't think you get a return on investment on your setting when it comes to the actual fun in a game. Um, I just don't think it's there. If you enjoy building settings, knock yourself out. And I'm starting to build my own one, which I'm going to share the process with you, which is a load of fun. But you don't need it to run a game. And this setting has everything you need to run for years. The setting is Blackmarsh. It's by Robert Connolly. Robert Connolly is fantastic, I think. He did the Wilderlands and stuff like that. He's really active on forums. Whenever I've seen people kind of like comment about this, he gets back to them. And this setting for me is just awesome. I'm going to go why it's my favorite setting and why I think it's worth picking up. Well, it's free, so pick it up anyway. So it's 24 pages. That is all. And within those 24 pages is everything you need. When you get the setting, you get the book, you get a map, or you get a few maps. You get one for the players, one for the GMs, which I'll share with you now. And you even get the entire setting in a rich text document. So that means you can take it, edit it, and make it your own. Amazing. So, right, let me jump across to the map first. Oh, by the way, I've done this video once already. I went to upload it yesterday, but it was so boring. And I didn't think it did it justice. So hopefully this will be a little bit better. So here's the map that you get with the setting. The map is a hex map, which I love. It's got 5 mile hexes. Personally, I'd change it to 6. It wouldn't make any impact, but it'd make it a little bit easier running old swords. And all the hexes are numbered. So this is the GM's map, not the player's map. So you can see the map numbered. The first 2 digits, the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the second ones are the rows as you go down. So it means finding stuff that's on the map is really, really easy. On the map, we have this area here called Smoking Bay. So a brief little bit of history, and I'll share it with you now. I'll show you how it's kind of set up. Is the idea behind this setting is a massive meteorite or something, the mountain that fell hit, and it spread what they call viz all around this area, which is kind of a magical essence. And within this area, there's been decades of, or not decades, but centuries of fighting and empires growing and falling. And this is just where we are now. So if I open the setting here, I'm not going to read it through because that's what I did last time and it was super boring. But I'll flick through from one to other and you'll see what's in there. So basically it gives you an introduction to it, introduction to the hex map, an overview of the area, an overview of a little bit of the history, and then it goes into geography. So if you look on this map at the background, for example, down here is the Dragon's Peak. Every area that kind of has a name on it has a place here. So the Dragon's Peak, and it has a little bit of history about it. But all of the areas only have enough for you to take and run with, and not too much that it becomes overwhelming and you have to learn it, which is one of the things I absolutely love about it. Also, every one of these has little hooks in which you can hang adventures and campaigns and all kinds of stuff. The place is just, the entire setting is just a treasure trove of things that kind of spark your imagination. And it's really, really cool, kind of the amount of different environments you've got to run in, and the different kind of peoples that you have to interact with. So, for example, here, the Crimson Hills. So down here we have the Crimson Hills. And in here, there's a couple of tribes of orcs. One's called the Bat Eaters, one's called the Blood Crushers, and they've been warring for years. Within this area here, we have a set of psychotic elves that are looking for domination. They think everybody else can be enslaved. So as you kind of go through the settings, any place you see a name, you're going to see a paragraph on. Then you go further, it has locales. So if we go back to here, every place you see an X, that is an encounter or something that's happening there. And you can find them by just mashing up the numbers. So we have one here, which is 0105. And when we jump back 0105, which is the first one, there's ruins of a hold that belonged to a dwarven ironmaster. So that gives more details than that, but it's enough for you to actually put something kind of cool there. Again, there's other stuff like dragons. There's a mother black dragon. There's all kinds of stuff that, like, it's Dungeons and Dragons, so you need a dragon. But all of these are kind of seeded throughout. But not only are they encounters, they also share the history and the politics and everything that's going on, which is quite awesome. There's a room and table that you can use. And again, I'm not going to go through all these in detail because it's free. You should get it because it's a brilliant example of how to do a setting. There's information about lots of the little settings. So Greenton is somewhere over here, Greenton there, and that is a halfling setting. It tells you about who runs it. And then we also have Castle Blackmarsh, which is central here. So Castle Blackmarsh is here. In fact, let me give you a little overview of the setting of bits that I remember. Here is the Grey Woods. There's like elves there that guard the viz that kind of grows there. The things like the acorns that come off the trees and stuff like that have magical properties. This is the perfect place that if you wanted to run almost like old forest type vibe. And I'm going to give you a couple of in the next episode. I'm going to give you a load of some adventures that you can set around here if you want that kind of campaign. I told you about the elves here. We have kind of Vikings up here. Obviously, there's dragons here because you need dragons. We have, as you go further down, you've got halflings. You've got the Blackmarsh Rangers who cleared this entire area. You have Castle Blackmarsh here. Castle Blackmarsh is almost like the central part of this place, and it used to have a bad dude in it called Atukil. I'm terrible with names. He's been vanquished since, but there's kind of like fallout since there. Now within this town, there's loads of cool stuff. There's his old castle, but beneath it, there's a dungeon that hasn't been cleared. There isn't information on that dungeon. It's up to you to populate it, to put whatever you want in there. I'm going to come up with a suggestion again in the next one for something that you could do there. Within here, there is churches that are kind of failing, ones that aren't. There is the Viz Club, which is like this really exclusive club where you get all of the proper details of the area. It costs a fortune. It's a great little kind of carrot to wave in front of your players. There's outfitters. There's loads of cool stuff, and there's some bad people in that town, but there's politics already thrown in here, which I think is really cool. And again, then it goes on to all of these little areas around, which I'll break down now in a sec. And that is pretty much the setting. It is a few areas, but then the story of the setting is told through the stuff that's going on. So if we go down here, we have kind of an outpost for another empire. We have a town here that supported Akatil, the big bad, and they don't like them and they don't like them. We have a keep here, and that keep is doesn't like the fact that the elves have taken over here. And as you can kind of see from just these little tiny nuggets, it builds up a setting that gives you enough to run with for a huge amount of time, enough for a loads of adventures to be thrown in there, but not too much to overrun. And this is probably the reason why I like this setting so much. So, like, I've ran in the Forbidden Lands. The Forbidden Lands is a great setting, but the problem is when I ran there, I found that my players knew more about the Forbidden Lands than I did, and that becomes very hard for you to run games on the fly, especially games when you like the games to develop through play, when people are actually able to tell you, no, this is what's around the corner. So this doesn't do that. It gives you enough that in a few pages you can get to know an area really well and then build off it. And I think that is just absolutely amazing from my point of view for the style of games that I want to run. So I can't say enough good things about this. Get it. I'll put links below. You can get it on DriveThru, and it is literally, it's fantastic. So for the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as a base. So I'm going to take a bunch of free adventures, some stuff from Basic Fantasy and from other places, and some cheap stuff and stuff that I think, when I say cheap, it doesn't mean not of value, but some great stuff. And I'm just going to plunk them here and see if anybody wants to give you ideas of stuff that you could run them. But essentially what you can do is you can take Old Swords for free, or you can take any of the other games that were in the first one, that any of them that you've had a read through and you like the look of. You can take this as a setting, and you can take some of the adventures that I'm going to share next week, and that's all you need. And you can do the entire thing without spending a penny or getting stuff for really cheap. I also love the fact that, like, once you print it in a booklet, it's just cool. So delving deeper, I haven't went in loads into the setting because it's not big. You can get it and read it, and I don't want to kind of spoil it on you, but get it. It's amazing, and even if you're not going to run in it, it's a great lesson, in my opinion, on how to write a setting, how to give more with less, and that is a very rare talent nowadays because people tend to think that the bigger the page count, the better the book, and this just proves that that's not the case. So Delving Deeper by Robert Connolly, make sure you get it, and the next one might be a little bit longer because I was going to do it in 3 different sets, but I think I'm only going to do it in one and just fire bunches of stuff at you for you to use. So hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one.